Hello, Assalamu alaikum. This is Zara binti Rashid, and I am the student of MBA, class of 2023. And today, the topic that I'm going to present is HR strategic planning. The course named Managing Human Capital, which is being led by Ranjeet Kumar very brilliantly. So, before starting off, I would like to tell you about the importance of HR strategic planning, and it is also important to know why the HR leaders and the CHROs of the companies are involved in such types of plannings. So, HR strategic planning is basically done keeping an eye on the opportunities and risks of the company. Uh, Not only that, but also keeping aligned the available resources of the company with the goals of the organization. Like if the organization or the company uses and align the available resources and the required tools and measurements for the company efficiently, so it is more likely to succeed in the future rather than those organizations who do not involve themselves in HR strategic planning. So, who are the people that are doing the strategic planning of the HR? They are basically HR leaders or CHROs of the company who have the responsibility to maintain the company's strategic environment to align their HR goals of the company. Now, moving towards our next slide, which is the vision statement of the company. Okay. So what is basically vision statement? Vision statement is the long-term statement of the company that represents its future goals and what it is currently doing as well and what it wants to achieve in 5 to 10 years time. So this explains number one is clarity. The vision statement must be clear, concise, and understandable for the people of the company to know what they'll be doing after 5 to 10 years and this gives them direction towards their goals as well. Now, the second one is inspiring. The vision statement must also be inspiring for the stakeholders, and no matter they are internal or external, but it should be inspiring for them to strive them for excellence. Number three is realistic. Obviously, as we all know, that vision statement must be realistic because if we are not realistic about our long-term plans, so how are we going to achieve them? So this is very important that the vision statement must be in the alignment of all the strengths, resources, and capabilities of the organization and how you are going to achieve it. Now, as we all know from the start, that the future, it should be future oriented because vision statements are made for more than 5 to 10 years of the company's goals. So this should explain what the company is striving to achieve after the 10 years and what the outlook of the company would look like after 10 years. Now, it should be broad based. Broad based means not only that one person who is the CEO of the company or the CHRO or the director of the company, but every department. The goals of every department should be aligned all together to achieve a singular goal. Now, our next slide is the mission statement. Mission statement is basically the short term and very concise statement that explains what the company basically does and what are the current operations of the company. So, number one is values and culture. So, mission statement explains the values and culture of the company because it is very important for external and internal stakeholders to know the culture of the company to attract the particular and most appropriate talent for the company. So, your culture and your values must be visible to everybody. Now, the second one is customers. Who do we serve? So that question is self-explanatory because mission statement clearly defines its customers as well in it. So we are further going to see an example of Trax logistics, vision, and mission statement. Now, the third one is purpose. A mission statement must have a purpose because without purpose, this would be an unclear statement. So, goals. What do we want to achieve? So, as we discussed in vision statement, that we have 5 to 10 years goals. In that, so in mission statement, there are also goals, but they are not that long term. These are short term goals. Now, products and services, obviously, mission statement must represent the product and services of the company for people to know better about that company. If the stakeholders are directly connected to the company, like normal consumers. Now, let's see an example of Trax Logistic. Its vision statement says to be the most trusted connectivity and mobility partner for humanity. So this is their long-term plan. Although they may not be doing very well in the current years because it is a startup, obviously, but they are looking forward to being a trusted and connectivity and mobility partner for all the humanity. Humanity explains the uh, unclear target market. So they are going to serve every community, every person, every company in the domain they are operating in. So now let's look towards the mission statement of the company. Believe in delivering the best logistics services throughout an exponential growing network across the globe. So this explains what they do and what are their values because exponentially growing network and best logistics services and the quality of the services they are providing. Now, Now, along with other innovations across the e-commerce supply chain, we are looking forward to cultivating everlasting relations with all leading online retail. So there they have explained their customers as well. There they have explained their product and services as well. And everything is clear in their mission statement. Now, let's talk about organizational values. So, before explaining about organization's value, I would like to go back to the start where I told you about what HR strategic planning is. So, these vision, mission, and organizational goals, these three components are a part of that planning. So, without them, organizations are not likely to be succeeded in the future. So organizational values play a very important role in maintaining the brand equity of the company. So these are integrity, respect, teamwork, customer delight, innovation, accountability. This explains the HR of the company needs to ensure the processes and the legal and SOPs of the companies are being adhered because without integrity, uh, the internal employees are more likely to be disconnected with the organizations and they may look for other opportunities because when they are not trusted in the organization, they do not feel safe or confident or motivated. So that the same thing goes with respect. Employees need to be respected, and to respect, they deserve respect. Now, teamwork is when you are looking for a team player, you should also promote a culture of teamwork in your organization. That must also represent the values of the organization. Customer delight could also be for your internal stakeholders like employees and everybody working in the organization, and for external as well. So for that, you can arrange employee engagement activities and everything. Innovation. People who are working in this era are looking towards the innovation, and innovation is a very important aspect for any organization to be appealing for new talent. Now, accountability. Accountability explains why a person should uh, do such work, and accountability does not necessarily means to have a strict check and balance. Accountability could also be through different performance measures, like I am going to explain further. So SMART goals are also a part of HR strategic planning, because HR is the one who sets all these goals for the companies, the organizational ones, the SMART goals, to achieve the goals of every department. Like we are going to study about sales example in this particular area. SMART, as we all know, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So let's take an example of a sales department. Like for a specific, they are saying focus on one area of sales that needs improvement. Try improving outbound sales leads. So that this clearly explains what our specific goal is. So they want their sales employees to focus on outbound sales. Now, how would it be measurable? So there they have set a target which is of 30% new leads, devising a new channel for outbound sales, that is LinkedIn. The leads could be from anywhere, from LinkedIn, from any online network, or any platform. So there they have given them 30% percentage which they are going to achieve. So achievable. Do your sales team have the capabilities to achieve this new target? Is there another staff with relevant experience to achieve this new project? Achievable means the goal that you are setting for the particular person must have those skills or resources that he must need in future. So does he have capabilities, or does he have resources like car or fuel or things like that? Relevant. A lack of presence in the outbound sales market means that you could be missing out on potential customers. So the goal that we have set is very relevant to the sales department, because when we are focusing on outbound sales, we need to be sure that is this going to be a potential advantage for us, or is it going to be a time waste? So here we are saying that outbound sales is very important. So this also becomes relevant. Timely. Set a realistic time frame for yourself to complete this target. 4 months is a reasonable target. So we have given them timeline as well of 4 months. This could be a month above than a quarter. Let's move towards another thing, that is components of HR strategy that I believe are very important for the organization, because without them, organizations are likely to lack these resources. So for the HR strategy, an organization needs the best people. For the execution, here we are talking about the execution phase of the HR strategy. So for that, number one thing that we need is best people who are best fit for the organization. Like there are a lot of people that we recruit and we screen, but not everybody clears the probation process as well. If we recruit them and we finalize their interview and hire them. So it is very important to select, recruit, and induct the best people who are fit for the organization. Because if you hire somebody who has a pessimist energy, so they are going to disrupt the system of your organization. So you need to be sure that the people you are hiring must comply with your values and your culture that you have made in your organization, and as well as the competencies. The competencies and behavioral skills must also resonate with your hiring process and your company's strategic goals. Number second is structure and HR compliance. So HR strategy involves aligning human capital initiatives with organizational goals, while HR compliance ensures adherence and legal regulatory requirements related to the employment practices. So once you hire the best people, the next step is to structure and HR compliance. So the structure that you have made for the company, like code of conduct or SOPs that needs to be followed in the company, must also must also be followed by the people you hire and the employees that are a part of that company. So HR needs to ensure that these legal and regulatory requirements and these code of conducts are being followed by those people. Now, the third thing is performance driven culture. Performance driven culture is very important for HR strategy to be successful in the future, because without this, the organizations are more likely to face disruption in their processes. So number one, here we are going to discuss four things. Number one is effective talent management. Effective talent management includes the hiring process, from the hiring to the probation level, and from the probation level, this could also go to 1 year of the employment period of a certain employee. So this is the effective talent management, how you manage the new talent you have hired. Number two is performance management. For performance management is very important for all the employees, because without performance management, we cannot be assured of what they are doing, and we cannot measure their performance basically. So this is also very important when we goes towards the reward and recognition, because reward and recognition is given to those whose performance is excellent, or medium, or low, because when the performance is low, you are not being given a reward but a consultation on a training. So this is a very important part of any organization. So performance management tool that I am going to tell you is balance scorecard. Balance scorecard is a very effective tool for to manage the performance of the company, because it has business excellence. It has, I'm going to discuss about the core components of it. It has business excellence. It has customer delight, which, and also it has financial goals and other aspects as well. So there we set KPIs for our employees and how they are going to achieve it, and what measures they are going to take, for how long, and what percentage that they have achieved in that period. So balance scorecard is a very effective tool for measuring the performance of your employees. Now coming towards reward and recognition. Reward and recognition is a very important tool for your employees, to keep them engaged in your company, to keep them motivated, to keep them heartfelt in the company, because everybody craves an appreciation. If there is no reward, an appreciation could also go a long way. So reward and recognition is also very important. And fourth one is the culture of the company. Culture has its own importance. People in this time are looking towards the peace and safe working environments where there are no harassments for women, where the company culture is healthy and not toxic. The political environment is not there. So culture must also be very good of the company for to make it appealing for new talent. So when you maintain such a culture, talent automatically comes towards the company, and the efforts of the HR are lessons, because you are attracting the talent process. So thank you so much for this presentation, and this is it from my part.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are here to talk about a topic that greatly impacts on the performance of any organization. As we all know that culture exists everywhere and it plays a crucial role in the development of any organization. जैसा कि हम सबको मालूम है कि कल्चर किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एक अहम किरदार अदा करता है और एक अच्छे कल्चर का होना किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए बहुत अहमियत का हामिल है। जैसे कि पीटर डकर कहते हैं कि कल्चर ईट स्ट्रेटजी फॉर ब्रेकफास्ट मीन्स आपकी स्ट्रेटेजिक गोल्स स्ट्रेटेजिक प्लान्स कितने ही अच्छे क्यों ना हो, अगर आपके एम्प्लॉयज सेल्फ मोटिवेटेड इंगेज ना हो और ऐसा कल्चर ना हो तो फिर आपकी कोई भी स्ट्रेटजी बहुत आसानी से फेल हो सकती है। Specifically, if we talk about the corporate culture generally describes the attitudes, practices, beliefs, and behaviors that guides how management and staff of a firm interact with each other, carry out their duties, and do businesses. Corporate culture frequently emerge naturally over time from the collective characteristics of individuals within the organization. A company's culture will be evident in every facet of operation, including their dress codes, working hours, office timings, office settings, employee perks and benefits, turnover rates, hiring choices, how staff and clients are treated, and client satisfaction. So generally, corporate culture is the collection of all these key factors that guides, inform, and differentiate your organization from any other organization. A thoughtful, even innovative company culture may set businesses apart from the competitive and foster long-term success. Companies like this can have possess the following qualities, which are they foster a supportive work environment, cultivate an eager, engaged, and motivated staff, they have lower attrition, they attract high-value personnels, encourage and raise performance standard and outputs, they support a company's lifespan, increase ROI, and they have a positive impact on business outcomes. They deliver an unbeatable competitive edge. They make an effort to diversify the workforce, and they explain to their staff members the objective of their position, divisions, and the entire culture. Similarly, अगर हम किसी भी सक्सेसफुल कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स की बात करें तो आया वो कल्चर बाय पर्पस बनाया गया हो या विद इन द टाइम पीरियड एक कल्चर क्रिएट हुआ हो। तो एक बिजनेस रिव्यू आर्टिकल के रिसर्च के तहत 6 ट्रेट्स को उन्होंने एक प्रोडक्टिव बिजनेस कल्चर के 6 ट्रेट्स को उन्होंने डिस्क्राइब किए हैं। नंबर 1 इज विजन. Vision of a firm can be effective tool, whether it is expressed through a straightforward mission statement. Number 2, values. Values can represent a way of thinking and viewpoints needed to realize the company's vision. Practices are practical ways that a business puts its belief into action while being ethically led. People are the next priority, and businesses employs and recruit in a way that reflect and improve their overall culture. But last but not the least, narrative and location are possibly the most contemporary aspects of business culture. It's critical for growth and public perception to have a compelling origin story or narrative. Now, if we talk about the theories of corporate culture, जिस तरह से एक थ्योरी एडवर्ड टी हॉल ने लो कॉन्टेक्स्ट सिविलाइजेशन और हाई कॉन्टेक्स्ट सिविलाइजेशन पर उन्होंने स्टेट की। इन हिज थ्योरी ऑफ लो कॉन्टेक्स्ट वर्सेस हाई कॉन्टेक्स्ट सिविलाइजेशन, एडवर्ड टी हॉल discuss how various societies convey and perceive messages. People in high context culture rely extensively on shared context, implicit communication, and non-verbal clues to communicate meaning. Relationship and trust are highly valued in these societies. Japan, China, and several nations in the Middle East are example of high context civilization. सिमिलरली इसी तरह अगर हम लो कॉन्टेक्स्ट कल्चर की बात करें तो लो कॉन्टेक्स्ट कल्चर रिलाई मोर ऑन वर्बल लैंग्वेज एंड एक्सप्लिसिट कम्युनिकेशन टू कम्युनिकेट मीनिंग. This culture place a premium on independence and directness and might put efficiency ahead of fostering relationship. Many nations in Northern Europe, the United States, and Germany are example of low context cultures. And another theory which presented by Gerd Hofstad's 5 dimensions of culture. Number 1, power distance, the extent to which people in a society accept unequal distribution of power. यानी आप डेलीगेशन ऑफ पावर्स की बात करते हैं, यानी हायर अथॉरिटीज के पास ही मैक्सिमम पावर्स मौजूद होती हैं. इसी तरह इंडिविजुअलिज्म वर्सेस कलेक्टिविज्म, द डिग्री ऑफ इम्पोर्टेंस प्लेस्ड ऑन इंडिविजुअल वर्सेस ग्रुप इंटरेस्ट, मैस्कुलिनिटी वर्सेस फेमिनिटी, the degree of emphasis on competition and achievement versus nurturing and caring, uncertainty avoidance, the extent to which people in a society are uncomfortable with ambiguity and uncertainty, long-term versus short-term orientation, the degree of focus on immediate versus long-term results and traditions. And now we discuss that how to develop a corporate culture, a successful corporate culture. Due to the wide variety of businesses, markets, and individuals, there is no one size fits all approach to creating a corporate culture. The fundamental stages listed below, a few, however, might make it easier to picture a corporate culture's benefits the company, its clients, and its employees. और ये हर एम्प्लॉय के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है कि उस कल्चर को फॉलो करें. And these are the some suggestions as well. Number 1, establish the vision, values, and conduct of the business. Number 2, collect employee opinions about the principal strategies and working practices of your business in order to enhance productivity and the working environment. To include and your employees whole town hall style meetings, polls, or small discussion groups. Develop strategies to convey firm values and behaviors and assess how well they are understood, such as frequent training sessions.
Talent acquisition. So before talent acquisition, firstly we are discussing that what is building an employer brand. So the perception of company communicated to current or potential employees through the employee value proposition. Importance of building a positive employer brand, attract quality new employees, and keep current employees engaged. So there are several steps for building an employer brand. It contains research, define the employer value proposition, develop a marketing strategy, emphasize with leadership the importance of modeling the brand, measure the impact of the brand strategy. So this is how you can build an employer brand. Let's come to the next slide, which is talent acquisition metrics. So there are several metrics like cost per hire, which is the total recruiting cost divided by the number of hires in the time period. Then application completion rate. It is a number of applications started versus the number of application completed. So candidate withdrawal reasons. So it helps to identify challenges in the recruiting process of or if competitors are hiring at a faster rate or for better benefits. Then the source of application, it is basically the percentage of total applications that came from the particular source. Now the source of hire, it is the percentage of total hires that come from particular source. Now we have new versus cancelled requisitions. So basically, it helps to gauge the business financial health. Then we have offer acceptance rate. It helps determine if company takes too long to make an offer or is not offering a competitive total reward packages for talent. Then we have a time to fill. This is a measure of length of time it takes to hire a candidate. Then we have a time in workflow. Basically, this is the measure of strength and efficiency of your company's recruiting process. Now let's come to the next slide, which is the quality metrics. Basically, diversity of new hires. Measuring diversity based on race, gender, and other protected qualities. This will help identify the inequalities and the need to address them. Then we have a quality of hire. Tracking the value of new hire brings the organization through formal evaluation. This metric should be tracked for at least 2 years to get a benchmark for the company's quality of hiring trends. Then we have a retention rate. It is measuring how long a new hire stays with the company to understand if the job met or exceeded their expectations. This can be measured by dividing the number of new hires who leave in the first year by the total number of new hires. Then we have satisfaction rates. It measures the candidate and hiring manager satisfaction through qualitative data gathered from interviews using a standard set of questions personalized for both groups. Then we have interview types and questions. So basically, interviews are an employment and interviews are an employment test governed by the uniform guidelines of employee selection procedures. Structured or directive interviews are more valid than unstructured or non-directive interviews. Interview questions must be specific to the job description or necessary capabilities. Then illegal questions are those related to the protected characteristics except those considered bona fide occupational quali- qualifications. Uh, then we have a types of interview. There are several types of interview like behavioral, situational, pattern, stress, and panel. Let's come to the next slide. It is a selection process. So in selection process, there are several steps like screening, interview, access the candidate, evaluation of the candidate, job offer, provide a verbal and written offer of employment to the selected candidate, and notify non-selected candidate of their status via email or personalized letter to maintain the positive impression of the company and keep them in the pipeline for the future positions. Let's come to the next slide, which is the major laws of the Department of Labor. So basically, these laws are taken from the U.S. Department of Law. So in the for the major laws, there we have an act which is called Fair Labor Standard Act, also known as Wage and Hours Law. There are several other laws related to fairness in compensation. They are the They are the Equal Act of 1963, Title of Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Age of Discrimination in Employment Act 1967, Title of the Americans and Disabilities of of 1990. So basically, compensation refer to take form of remuneration. This includes salary, overtime pay, stock options, life insurance, bonus, paid time off, benefits, and etc. Now let's come to the selection process guidelines. So basically, we have standard procedure with the uniform guidelines on employee selection procedure established by the guideline of for pre-employment test. Uh, this also establishes the parameter for calculating adverse impact of hiring, promotion, or other employment decisions such as reduction force. So now we have workplace safety and health. Basically, this act is administered by Occupational Safety and Health Administration, which is also called OSHA. Now let's come to worker compensation. It is contact the worker compensation. So basically, in wherever you work or live, they have a workers compensation program. So you must be aware about that. So there are different acts for different type of employment like longshore and harbor worker compensation act, the Energy Employees Occupational Illness Compensation Program Act, the Federal Employees Compensation Act. Then we have employee benefit security. So basically, there is also an act which is called the Employee Retirement Income Security Act, which regulates employers who offer pension or welfare benefits plan for their employees. Now we have labor relations. The National Labor Relations Act, also known as Wagner Act, established the rights of workers to organize and bargain collectively and define unfair labor practices. Then, what is unfair labor practices is an act that a union or employer commits that violates Section 8 of the National Labor Relations Act, or it also known as the Taft-Hartley Act. Then we have the Labor Management Reporting and Disclosure Act of 1959, also known as Landrum-Griffin Act, deals with the relationship between union and its members. Now comes to the employee protection. So basically, OSHA covers almost all the laws related to employee protection. We also have a Uniform Service Employment and Retirement Rights Act, then Employee Polygraph Protection Act, which do not allow employer to use uh, then we have the Family and Medical Leave Act, migrant and seasonal agriculture workers. The Migrant Seasonal Agriculture Workers Protection Act regulates the hiring and employment activities of agriculture employees from labor, contractor, and associations using migrant and seasonal agricultures. Then we have a Mine Safety and Health. The Federal Mine Safety and Health Act of 1997 cover all the people who work on mine property. Then come to the plant closings and layoff. Such occurrence may be subject to the workers' adjustment and training notifications. One offers employees early warning of impending layoff and plant closing. OSHA cover the law for construction and transport as well. Then we have a poster. The loss poster advisors can be used to determine which poster employees are required to display at their places for business poster. It should be available in English and other languages, which is according to the employer. Now come to the related agencies. Other federal agencies beside Department of Labor states that ensure non-discrimination in employment and are generally enforced by the equal opportunity employers. The Hefty Hartley Act regulate a wide range of employer-employee conduct and administered by the National Labor Relations Board. So that's all from the talent acquisition. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Diga Kumari and today's my topic is workforce planning. So why workforce planning is important? Because workforce planning is the key part of HR strategy. Without workforce planning के HR strategy आगे नहीं जा सकती. तो आई वुड लाइक टू गिव एग्जाम्पल कि अगर हमें किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में कोई बंदा छोड़ के जाता है तो वर्कफोर्स प्लानिंग ये नहीं है कि हम उसी वक्त हायर कर लें, बल्कि वो होता है कि हम उससे पहले देखें कि कौन से एम्प्लॉय हमारे पास हैं या उनमें कौन सा टैलेंट है जिनको हम आगे ले जा सकते हैं. So moving forward, I would go with the definition of workforce planning. The right people. The right people means वो टैलेंट होना चाहिए जो हमारे कल्चर में फिट हो. ऐसा ना हो कि वो किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से आए हो और हमारे कल्चर में फिट ना हो, वो ज़्यादा रिजिड ना हो, उनमें ऐसी कॉम्पिटेंसी ऐसी स्किल्स होनी चाहिए जो हमारे कल्चर के हिसाब से आगे उसको हम लॉन्ग टर्म में लेके जा सके. सो द राइट पीपल में ये एक मैट्रिक्स है जिसमें ये डिफाइन किया गया है कि हाई विल और लो विल के जो एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं वो उनको हम हायर नहीं करते हैं. हाँ, लेकिन हमको हम चांस दे सकते हैं, लाइक फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट्स के ऊपर हायर कर सकते हैं ताकि वो आगे जाके कहीं अपनी स्किल सेट को मतलब आगे मतलब फ्यूचर जो है वो अपना सेट करें. बाकी ये इस मैट्रिक्स में ये दिखाया गया है कि जो हाई विल लो विल वाले लोग हैं वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में नहीं चल पाते, लेकिन हम उन्हें चांस दे सकते हैं. और जो सेकेंड चीज़ है वो है द राइट स्किल्स. राइट स्किल्स में एम्प्लॉय की बिहेवियरल कॉम्पिटेंसी, फंक्शनल कॉम्पिटेंसी एंड लीडरशिप कॉम्पिटेंसी देखी जाती हैं. तो फंक्शनल कॉम्पिटेंसी में ये होता है कि हमें एम्प्लॉयज़ की जो है वो नॉलेजेस की देखी जाती है कि एम्प्लॉयज़ को कितनी नॉलेज है, नॉलेज अबाउट प्रोडक्ट, नॉलेज अबाउट लाइक कंपनी के क्या आगे गोल्स हैं, किस तरह उसको अचीव करने हैं. तो बिहेवियरल जो फंक्शनल कॉम्पिटेंसी होती है वो नॉलेज होता है, और जो बिहेवियरल कॉम्पिटेंसी होता है वो एम्प्लॉय का एटीट्यूड होता है, एम्प्लॉय का टाइम मैनेजमेंट होता है, उसकी स्किल्स होती हैं. तो मोस्ट ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो हायर करती हैं लोगों को वो 80% होती है फंक्शनल कॉम्पिटेंसी के थ्रू करती है कि उनमें नॉलेज होनी चाहिए. और जो थर्ड चीज़ है वो है द राइट प्लेस. राइट प्लेस मीन्स हम एम्प्लॉय को किस डिपार्टमेंट में फिट कर रहे हैं अकॉर्डिंग टू हिज और हर एक्सपीरियंस. उसका क्या ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस है, उसकी क्या कॉम्पिटेंसीज हैं, उसमें क्या लाइक स्पेशलाइजेशन है, उसको हम किस जगह पे फिट करेंगे. मीन्स राइट प्लेस का ये मतलब होता है. द फोर्थ थिंग इज एट द राइट टाइम. राइट टाइम वो नहीं होता जब एम्प्लॉय हमारे पास छोड़ के जाए और हम उसी वक्त हायर करते हैं, बल्कि वर्कफोर्स प्लानिंग में ये होता है कि अगर कोई एम्प्लॉय छोड़ के जा रहा है तो कुछ टाइम पहले कंपनी को जो है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की जो टीम है लाइक HR टीम है उसको इस चीज़ पे वर्किंग करनी चाहिए कि हमें एम्प्लॉय के जाने से पहले हमें कोई ना कोई टैलेंट को रिटेन करना चाहिए कि हमारे पास ऐसा टैलेंट है जो हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में आएगा, उसकी जगह पे काम कर पाएगा. तो राइट टाइम का ये होता है कि राइट टाइम पे हमें मतलब लोग रिटेन करना चाहिए, हायर करना चाहिए. एंड लास्ट थिंग इट राइट कॉस्ट. किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में अगर हम किसी को हायर कर रहे हैं तो कभी भी हमें उसके बजट से कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ नहीं करना चाहिए. उसकी एक्सपीरियंस, उसकी कॉम्पिटेंसीज, उसके जो लास्ट जहाँ पे उसने काम किया है उसके अकॉर्डिंग उसको पे करना चाहिए. तो कभी भी अगर अच्छी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में अगर हम किसी को अच्छा पे नहीं करेंगे, उसको रिवॉर्ड्स नहीं देंगे, उसको बेनिफिट नहीं देंगे, तो डेफिनेटली ही विल गो फॉर अनदर ऑप्शन. सो ये थी हमारे वर्कफोर्स प्लानिंग की डेफिनेशन. सो सेकेंड थिंग इज स्टेप्स ऑफ वर्कफोर्स प्लानिंग. तो वर्कफोर्स प्लानिंग में क्या स्टेप्स हैं? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल द मेन स्टेप इज कॉर्पोरेट ऑब्जेक्टिव, कि हम किस तरह ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के ऑब्जेक्टिव को मीट करके वर्कफोर्स प्लानिंग करते हैं. हमारे फ्यूचर के क्या गोल्स हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के, और टीम जो है इसके अकॉर्डिंग अपने जो है चूज करती है कि हमें कौन से बंदे, कौन सी कॉम्पिटेंसी चाहिए होगी और किसको हमें आगे लेके जाना है. इन द सेकेंड थिंग इज एनालाइज वर्कफोर्स प्लानिंग. इसके बाद हम एनालाइज करते हैं कि हमारे पास कौन सा टैलेंट मौजूद है जिसको हम आगे रिटेन करके ले जा सकते हैं और सक्सेशन प्लानिंग कर सकते हैं, और कौन सा टैलेंट ऐसा है जो हमारे पास वेस्ट है, जो आगे नहीं जाता. तो सेकेंड स्टेप में हम एनालाइज करते हैं कि हमारे कि कौन से ऐसे बंदे हैं जो आगे जाएंगे और कौन से नहीं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल इसका ये ले लें कि हमारे पास किसी टेक के बंदे कम है हमारे पास और इसकी वजह से हमारी प्रोडक्टिविटी पे इम्पैक्ट आ रहा है, तो हम ये एनालाइज करेंगे कि उसकी जो नीड है हमें वो फुलफिल करनी है और ऐसी ऐसी स्ट्रेटजी बनाएंगे ताकि उसको हम हायर कर सकें। एंड द थर्ड स्टेप इज डेवलप एन एक्शन प्लान। उसके बाद जो है हम थर्ड स्टेप अप्लाई करेंगे, एक्शन प्लान डेवलप करेंगे कि हमें कौन सी ऐसी चीज़ें करनी चाहिए कि मतलब जैसे कि करियर डेवलपमेंट होगी, सक्सेशन प्लानिंग हो गई। अगर किसी को हम हायर कर रहे हैं तो उसको हम सक्सेशन प्लानिंग देंगे कि इसको हम आगे ले जाएंगे और एक अपना प्लान और स्ट्रेटजी इस तरह डेवलप कर लेंगे कि लोग हमारे पास फ्यूचर के लिए रिटेन करें। एंड द फोर्थ स्टेप इज इम्प्लीमेंट इन एक्शन। इसके बाद सारे जो है वो मतलब जो ये सारी स्टेप्स थे, लास्ट स्टेप जो है इस एक्शन को हम इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे तो कम्युनिकेट करेंगे कि हमें इस तरह से ये एक्शन इम्प्लीमेंट करना है। सो ये थे हमारे प्रोसेस ऑफ वर्कफोर्स प्लानिंग। द लास्ट स्टेप इज व्हाई इज वर्कफोर्स प्लानिंग इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर एनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। सो वर्कफोर्स प्लानिंग इसीलिए इम्पोर्टेंट है क्योंकि इसमें हायर एम्प्लॉय रिटेंशन होता है। अगर हम पहले से ही वर्कफोर्स प्लानिंग करेंगे कि हमें इस टैलेंट को आगे लेके जाना है अकॉर्डिंग टू हिज कॉम्पिटेंसी, अकॉर्डिंग टू हिज स्किल्स, तो हमारी जो रिटेंशन है वो एम्प्लॉय की ज़्यादा होगी हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में। जो एम्प्लॉय है उसको कहीं और पे जाने की नीड नहीं होगी। द सेकेंड थिंग इज ग्रेट प्रोडक्टिविटी। मतलब वर्कफोर्स प्लानिंग से हमारी जो प्रोडक्टिविटी है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की वो इम्प्रूव होगी। जो टॉप टैलेंट है, जो ज़्यादा लोग अच्छा काम करते हैं, जिसमें स्किल्स है, वो बंदे अगर हमारे पास रिटेन करेंगे तो हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की प्रोडक्टिविटी भी अच्छी होगी। एंड द थर्ड स्टेप इज हेल्थियर एम्प्लॉय वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस। जो मतलब हेल्थियर एम्प्लॉय का वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस होगा और हमारे पास लोग रिटेन करेंगे, कहीं और नहीं जाएंगे। जो फोर्थ स्टेप है वो है पीपल डेवलपमेंट। हम लोगों को जो है वो ट्रेनिंग्स देंगे, हम लोगों को जो है डेवलपमेंट प्लान्स देंगे, सक्सेशन प्लानिंग देंगे, वो आगे जाके कहीं पे जो है मतलब किसी पोजीशन पे होंगे और उनको रिवॉर्ड्स देंगे ताकि वो हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में रिटेन कर सकें। तो वर्कफोर्स प्लानिंग बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट है एचआर स्ट्रैटेजी के लिए। तो किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को सारी चीज़ें देख के वर्कफोर्स प्लानिंग करनी चाहिए और एम्प्लॉय को जो है ये बेनिफिट देने चाहिए। थैंक यू सो मच।